Hello everyone and welcome to another kitchen vlog. So this is my third video in my series where I have you follow me around in the kitchen for a week, where I pop in every day and make something, or one of the things I'm gonna make that day I'll film. There's dishes in the sink, I need to empty the dishwasher. Oh my god, there's people sledding outside. How Norwegian is that, and also how wholesome, right? It's a Saturday, people are enjoying their day, and so am I. It's a lovely day outside, lovely winter day. I just came back from the store, and when I go to the store with a stroller, I stuff my groceries. There's like a little carrier, a pouch or whatever underneath strollers, and I just stuff my groceries in there. But when we got back, I tried to not wake him because his nap time is not really over yet. The way I pulled the groceries out from the pouch, I feel like I heard an egg break. I am nervous, but there's no leak. Ooh, it looks like they're all fine. I was so sure I heard something break. My leek did not break. Oh my god, who am I, right? Far-fetched. A Pokemon joke about some butter. These things are irrelevant, but the leek is relevant. I'm making fish soup one of the days. So for that, I also have single cream, one potato for that, and then also cod, frozen cod, because it's cheaper. Let's throw in some kind of like, when you buy fish, please make sure it's ethically farmed, and also if you're in Norway, like obviously buy Norwegian fish, because if not, like what the hell are you doing? And also some of the potatoes, yeah, like choose the odd shaped potatoes, right? And also you don't need a plastic produce bag for stuff, just put them in your shopping bag, trolley, whatever. Yeah, because I want to make fish soup for us, and another day I want to make like a fish meal for my baby, because he is eating solids now, and he hasn't had fish yet, so let's start off with cod. Also got some like margarine, plant margarine stuff, because I want to make rolls. So that's some of the things you'll see me make through this week. And today, because it's Saturday and I have had a bad night with said baby, I am making a mocha frappuccino. These frozen coffees, there's so many different things to call them. I know I've made this before, but I'm using a recipe from iambaker.net. And the good thing about this recipe is that it has a jump to recipe button. You don't have to read their introduction. So this means I'm gonna blend ice. So I'm probably gonna wake up my son because he's at the end of his nap. It doesn't really matter because he needs to wake up anyway, but I would have preferred if he was outside for this, but he woke up and I moved him inside and blah. Also in Norway, yes, babies sleep outside. That's a thing. But this is called a copycat Starbucks recipe or something. So of course I'm gonna use my thrifted iced cold drink glass. I'm using whole milk because that's just the best for these kinds of drinks. Wait a second, can my blender deal with ice? But I'm not gonna add as much ice as the recipe like calls for. I'm just gonna add a few pieces because I don't need it to be super slushy, you know? Also using my silicone ice cube tray. I always mention this. Love it. It's reusable. 75 grams of chocolate sauce. So should we just eyeball this or what? Because I'm not gonna put it into a cup because it's not gonna come back out, right? So this whole thing has 360 grams. So let's just see like how much we think that is, right? And then we're gonna try and make our cup look cute, but I haven't really done much of this. So, well, I'm sure it'll look cute, like when you pour the drink in. And then we'll add in some sugar, 1.5 tablespoons. And then I'm mixing in like technically 2 shots of espresso, but it's instant coffee. So I'm making espressos out of that. Just like mixing really strong coffee. Wow, you really should wait till you're like done to decorate the mug. Like, why didn't I think of that? Okay, let's just blend this and hope that it doesn't scare the shit out of my son. Didn't mean to splash the counter. Could have done without the mess, to be honest. Oh my god, that's so good. What the hell? That tastes exactly like the Starbucks one. It could just be that I haven't had it in a really long time. I cannot say I'm not surprised, but very nice. And then I'm gonna add some whipped cream on top. Just for the bounce. Let's add some, ooh no, I fucked it up, fuck. Honestly, I'm obsessed with this. Like, what the hell? It turned out so good. Like, excuse me? This has no business being that good. I have to make this for my goddaughter. She will love it. She's turning 15 this year, so it's not that crazy, okay? And the nice thing about this, you don't need any like fancy syrups, like any, you know, coffee flavoring syrups. You just need the chocolate syrup, which you can use for other things as well. I like the recipes where you don't have to buy like weird stuff, but also if there are recipes that call for other things than what you have and you try to like just skip them, you know, it might be worth actually buying them. What I do is I try to look for other recipes for how to use things, or actually like sometimes I just Google like how to use up you know, a pot of sour cream or whatever you have, you know, like not that that's a weird ingredient, but just, you can always just Google it and people will give you ideas. So don't sleep on, you know, Reddit and stuff like that. But okay, well, thank you so much for watching today. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope you'll enjoy the rest of the week. Hey! Hello everyone! Today we are making rolls, and I actually thought I timed this really well with putting on the dishwasher. First of all, I like to run it early in the morning because it's cheaper. The electricity cost is lower. But I realized these are like oat rolls, and last time I made rolls with like oat flour, my partner didn't really like, he thought they were a bit not so fluffy kind of thing. So I want to have them rising for you know, a good few hours. So the dishwasher is on, I am sorry. Anyway, so we're making some simple rolls, which means it's a simple recipe, like you just throw everything in there. There's no butter in these though, because there's butter in the other ones, and that's probably also what's making them really nice. Hey, hey. But these are, you know, healthier rolls. I'm gonna use oat flour, which is just rolled oats that I have blended. It's super easy to make. And I'm also gonna use some chia seeds because I want to eat more chia seeds, but I don't really like, I can add them to stuff if I'm gonna eat it immediately, but I don't like the jelly texture that they get. Okay, so we're gonna start off. I've never used this recipe, so I hope it's good. We are gonna use some regular flour, of course. If not, they get so heavy, goddamn. It's satisfying when you finally get your, you know, food containers emptied. So, okay, well, my flour container doesn't go very long without getting empty, but it's just nice because then you can, you know, wash them. So 200 grams. Yeah, I'm adding a little bit more, also because a little bit more fell in. How many rolls? 10. This is 10. What the hell? Because I wanted to give some to my mom. I need to make more than this then. Who makes 10 rolls? That's so little. Hello? Okay, so we need to double the recipe. Boop, 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 boop. I'm just pouring this all on the scale, like on the bowl is on the scale, so it's kind of risky, so I have to be a little bit careful. Oh my god, that was the perfect amount. Okay, almost. We're missing 4 grams. And it also says to add 100 grams of oats. So we're gonna add oats. And then I'm gonna add 100 more of the regular flour. And then we're gonna add 6 tablespoons of chia seeds then. And then we're gonna add a bag of yeast. Gonna add a teaspoon of sugar. I like the recipes where you can just throw everything into the bowl. And then some salt. This should be 2 teaspoons, right? Oh, it's So obviously my son is right here. And I gave him one of his spoons that we used to feed him, and he is so excited about it. I mean, hopefully he doesn't just think it's a toy now, but it's just, you know, like distracting babies. Like, just give them something that they don't usually get to play with, but not something that you don't want them to actually like try and play with, because I have a night lamp that I use for breastfeeding in the night. I used to not let him play with it because I didn't want him reaching for it and shit, but now I'm just like, no, like, fuck it, he can just play with it. Like, that did not last long. I like to not add in all of the water immediately. I like to try and mix it first, because sometimes it doesn't need all of the water. This is what we're working with, so the bowl is already quite full. Okay, so I was right. There was too much water, and I didn't even add all the water, so I had to add some more flour in because the dough is too like wet. But this is the finished result. Now we're gonna let it rise. The trusty kitchen towel is on the bowl, which is quite heavy, and yeah, we'll see you in a few hours. Okay, so I slept in. We had a really bad night, so my partner was like, you have to sleep with the kid when he takes his snaps. That's what I did, and I woke up to my alarm. Then I woke up 40 minutes later and realized what I had done. Okay, I'm gonna turn off these lamps now. Don't think they're helping. Because these lamps have yellow light bulbs, and I like, it's cool, it's cozy. It's just earlier I needed all the light I could. Okay, so dough reveal. Ooh, this is not bad, but it could have risen more because it's been there for, I don't know, 3 hours or something, possibly more. Yeah, it's snowing, so you can hear my son like walking over to the window or crawling over to the window. He just loves sitting by the window to look outside. Okay, I got 2 baking sheets here. One with my trusty reusable baking paper, which I absolutely love. I only have one of them, unfortunately, because I was like testing them out, so I didn't want to buy too many before I knew that it was actually good. But it's good, so I could buy more, but I just haven't yet. I'm gonna try and make square rolls this time, which sounds weird. I make the same ones all the time, you know? So the whole reason I said that I slept in is because I of course didn't intend to leave them this long, because I want them to rise for the longest as actual rolls. Now we lost that luxury, unfortunately. I mean, it's only 11, so of course we do have time to have them rise more. I just, I want them done before I, start dinner, having more things going on in the kitchen at the same time. It's not a good look for me. Yeah, I really hope they turn out good. I'm curious about the chia seeds because people are, saying good things about chia seeds in rolls, or in bread, I mean. So that's why I specifically wanted to find a recipe for chia seed rolls. So we'll see how these turn out. Okay, we are done, but I think I made them too big because I don't have 20. But I'm gonna cover them up with tea towels again and see what happens. All right, don't mind our lunch leftovers in the background. They haven't risen, well, they've definitely, risen. There's definitely a difference, and I can tell they've gotten more fluffy. So I'm gonna throw them in the oven. I'm just adding some water just to, I don't know, maybe make them more crispy on the top. And they're going in the oven for 15-20 minutes. So we'll see. Okay, so I've just checked on the rolls and it smells absolutely amazing in here. You know how it smells when you make rolls? It smells like that. It doesn't smell like, healthy rolls. It smells like buttery rolls, which is kind of surprising. They look really good, but they're not done yet. They've been inside for 17 minutes-ish, so maybe they'll need a little bit longer than what it said, just because they're a little bit bigger than they were supposed to be. The rolls are done. I have gone ahead and cut one open. It's hot. So I'm gonna taste test with some butter. Moment of truth. Oh my god, my mom is gonna love these. Okay, that was it for today. I am now about to make pizza. Got some pizza sauce cooking right there. All right, see you tomorrow. So I really felt like, a hot, nice soup because it's winter and all of that, and then I'm also drinking iced coffee while I'm making it. And yes, I made it in a mug because I'm lazy today and I don't care about aesthetics. So as you can see, there's 2 pots on the stove. So I'm making fish soup for the adults, as in me and my partner, and my son is gonna have his first ever fish meal. So basically just gonna boil some carrots, potato and broccoli, and add some cod. Hopefully he will like it. He's not the biggest fan of dinner, but I mean, he will eat some, but he has to get used to it. A big bummer, because I like to add onions to my fish soup, and our onion that I was gonna use had gotten stabbed by something, so it had gotten bad. It wasn't bad because it was old. It had gotten injured, so that's really annoying. I've boiled some water, and as you can probably see, it's steamy, and added some vegetable stock. You should use fish stock, ideally, but I just can't be bothered buying that many different stocks because we already have 3 different ones. I don't make fish soup that often, so I don't want to have another one just for that. But obviously it's better if you use the fish one, but it's still nice with the vegetable one. I have some spring onion here that I've planted, and one of them is breaking off because it's too long, because I haven't used it in a few days, and they grow really fast. Never ending spring onions, everyone. Just put them in some soil. So we're gonna add in some leek, also some potato, and some carrots. And for my son, it's carrots, potatoes, and I'm also gonna throw in some broccoli. And for the fish, we're using the cod that I showed you, and a part of this also is going into his food. And for us, I also have some salmon. I bought this from the food saver section and bagged it up for this intended use. Okay, so I'm gonna wash and cut the vegetables now. All right, we are done with our very different meals. So this is for my son. It's just, chunks, because I'm gonna mash it up anyway. And so yeah, this is carrots, potatoes, and broccoli. And then we have potatoes, leek, and the carrot is underneath. I'm also gonna chop up some garlic, and then I'm gonna add that spring onion at the end. So that's basically what's gonna go into this soup. The potato is mainly there to add starch. Before, I didn't really used to add potatoes because I'm not a huge fan of potato. It's not like I dislike potatoes, but to me, I'm why would I add a potato, But add that potato. So I'm gonna add this to the water, and then we're gonna cut the fish, which not my favorite part, but obviously it's gotta get done. But at least this is without skin and bones, so it's very easy to cut up. But this one is still a little bit frozen, and it said you only need to take it out 20 minutes before cooking it, and I took it out maybe an hour ago. The soup is looking fine. It's getting, starchy and nice, and his dinner is obviously looking like boiled vegetables. But I'm gonna attempt to cut this fish, and then we're gonna add some single cream, which we call food cream in Norway. It's got 18% fat and it's the one we use for like cooking. I mean, obviously it's nicer with double cream, but I try to use this most of the time as it's obviously healthier. So the fish goes in last and then you kind of like reduce the heat. Good morning. Good morning. A grand old Tuesday to you. So today I'm gonna make myself a little bit of a nicer breakfast. I'm gonna use these ciabatta, what are they even called? Ciabatta? I don't know. To make a little bit of a pesto. Honestly, he was not doing this until I started filming. So I'm gonna make, I don't remember what this is called, the sandwich with like tomato, pesto, and cheese. Usually it's mozzarella, but I'm gonna use regular cheese. I'm very hungry. I really like pesto. Should try making my own one day, but it is not this day. This is such a standard sandwich or whatever in the UK if you don't eat, you know, meat or you don't like ham, because a lot of sandwiches at like coffee shops and stuff will have ham and cheese. I am not a huge fan of like meat. I just don't eat a lot of meat when I'm eating out. Like when I'm eating out, I always try to go for the vegetarian option, both because I'm weird with my meat and also because I like to create a demand for vegetarian options, you know? So I've eaten my fair share of these kinds of sandwiches and I really like this combination. And like I said, it is nice even if you don't have mozzarella. I'm just slicing my tomato and I'm trying to make thin slices because I prefer that. So I'd rather have like more thin slices than like one thick slice on each of the pieces, you know? I do miss like English coffee shops though. But what I really, really miss is garden centers, because they have the cutest coffee shops and they have, you know, like hearty, like they have proper, you know, nice food that you want to eat. Like they have really nice sandwiches and stuff. I do miss that. I think I've mentioned this before in a completely separate video. I think my favorite coffee shop that I went to is, I don't remember the name, it is kind of embarrassing. It's named after a Batman villain. Oswald Cobblepot? I don't remember, but it's next to Gunnersbury Station. It's in West London. It's a really cool coffee shop. Like I would recommend going there. I don't know Batman. I don't know the comics at all, but it's a really cool coffee shop that I would really, you know, recommend going to. They have really nice coffee, but it's also just very like themed, which is I am a sucker for. So even if you don't know who the person is, it's still fun to go there. So would recommend. But there are tons of nice coffee shops in London. I also went to one that I went to. I made a video of it. It's called like St. Ives or something. They make like the purple and blue lattes with like gold flakes on them and stuff. Like it's very nice. Into the oven we go. And I have to try and do that as fast as possible because my son realizes that the oven is open and he's like, oh, I'm interested. It's honestly so frustrating that babies and toddlers are just constantly trying to unalive themselves. I got a new Moomin plate. This is a new design. So if you don't know, this is Moomin by Arabia and they release new designs all the time. People collect this shit and I have a lot of it, but I've collected it over time and, you know, asked for it for Christmas and stuff like that. But one of my friends bought me a design that I already had for my birthday, so I exchanged it for that one, which is new, because I can't really justify like just buying, well, obviously I'm not just buying all the designs, I'm not collecting it because I don't have room for that, and I'm not interested in owning that many, you know, cups and plates and bowls and all of that. But I also think like consumerism, constantly releasing new things because you want people to buy more of your product, even if it's only a few times a year, it's still problematic in my eyes. Oh my god. I have just cut up an apple to have with my breakfast. I think he's excited because I used to let him like nibble on the apple core after I've cut up my apple. So I think he thinks he's gonna get that now. But now that he has upper and bottom blue teeth, he can actually bite off pieces. So he can't have that anymore. So I'll have to disappoint him. No more apple cores. Luckily for him, here's something I prepared earlier. I have some boiled apple slices and straight from the fridge. I think they're very nice to eat for his gums, like he's teething. So he can have some of these while I'm having my breakfast. This will be his second breakfast. I mean third if you include breast milk. All right, it is done. Ooh, okay, let's not tip this off of the plate. Looks very good to me. I have a big appetite. I am breastfeeding, but I mean hopefully I can eat all this. I think I was a little bit optimistic. So I'm gonna go enjoy that and my apple and give my son some attention. I don't think I've given this impression. I just had to turn the fan off because I'm warming my son's fish dinner and you kind of want the fan on for that, right? I don't want to give the impression that I make proper dinners every day, especially I think this has become very clear. Whenever I am by myself, when my partner is not here, I make more lazy things. But I mean, I still need to eat properly. I'm breastfeeding and I'm terrified to lose my supply because it took 3 months for me to exclusively breastfeed because I got sick after birth, had to wait 5 weeks to start breastfeeding. Then you're kind of screwed. So I worked really hard on it. So I need to, you know, eat semi-properly at least. And I'm also a fan of just, you know, keeping stuff moving in our freezer, like not letting stuff just sit there. Got a trusty frozen tortilla. My partner opens stuff upside down sometimes. Got some vegan nuggets. Okay, this might be more than one wrap, but I'll have some dippers on the side then if it's too much. Also, my son just stood up on his own for the first time. He's 8 months today, so I was so excited, oh my god. For this wrap, which it's gonna be, I have some salad that I made yesterday for some tacos. So it's bell peppers, lettuce, onions, tomatoes, and I think that's it. And then there's some lime juice on it. So should be good, right? So I'm just gonna pop these in and then I'm gonna give my son his dinner. I prefer for us to have dinner together so that he feels, you know, included in a meal. But when I'm eating handheld food, I kind of need to like feed him first. Because if not, like, he's just gonna get too impatient. I'm so pleased he ate all his dinner, except for like, I mean, 3-4 spoons that he kind of slapped out of my hands that ended up on the floor, but that was his best dinner in a little while. The nuggets are done. I do want to say, I very rarely eat like fast food or like pre-made food kind of thing, but it happens. And I do it. I'm not gonna lie about it. I think I said in yesterday's bit that I'm weird about meat. So I don't like to buy, you know, fast food that has meat, like pre-made food that has meat in it. I don't know about the weird bits on there, you know. If I'm eating meat, I need to kind of like prepare it myself because then I can take out the bits I don't like. So we got some garlic, I guess you would call it garlic mayo. Ooh. Yeah, so the only like fast food that I really buy is vegetarian or vegan stuff because I do find that it's hard to make like vegan nuggets and stuff like that on my own. I've tried, I have yet to succeed. And I definitely have yet to make something that my partner wants to eat as well. So it's easier to just buy it. But if it's one kind of like fast food thing that I don't feel bad about buying, because I don't like buying fast food, but also like if I buy the vegetarian or vegan stuff, I'm also like, I'm voting with my money that I like that they produce this kind of stuff, right? So it's good. Okay, so we got 4 dippers left on the baking sheet, and this is the wrap. But I'm not gonna like fully wrap it together because then like it'll just fall apart while I walk over to the table. I am happy with this. This is a nice, little, very easy meal when I'm only making food for myself. You know, moms need a break, okay? Hello, and a happy Thursday. It seems to be a nice day outside, but it's gonna start raining. So I wanna hurry up and eat an early lunch so we can go out for a walk before it starts raining. So today I really wanted to use up a few leftovers here and there, and you probably see a pattern here. He is so cute, like you have no idea. Like, how lucky am I? I actually have the cutest baby in the world. So we have some tagliatelle left over. It's just like a little bit left in the bag. It's not enough for the both of us. And I also have my pesto left over. And as we all know, you can't have an open jar of pesto just sitting there forever. So I want to use that up. And I also have some sugar snap peas that have been sitting in my fridge for a while because I bought a bigger bag of them than I expected. And I just haven't, you know, been able to use them up. And I have a tomato that's kind of going a little bit squishy. And I was like, can you use sugar snap peas in pasta? And I Googled it, and the first thing that came up, a recipe with tagliatelle, pesto, tomatoes, and sugar snap peas. So I'm like, well, this is a sign. I'm just kidding, I don't believe in any kind of sign. So I'm gonna use that and a shallot and some garlic. So I'm gonna get these things chopped up, have my pasta water going, and yeah, let's see how this turns out. All right, the vegetables are chopped and the pasta water is boiling. So I'm just gonna throw it in, just preparing some orange slices for my son first so that he will stay patient. He's sitting right here. So we're gonna dump this whole bag into our boiling water with salt and oil in it, of course. All right, the onion is cooked for a little bit, so I'm gonna throw in the rest of the vegetables just to soften them up a little bit, you know? And then I'm gonna throw in the garlic, and not too long, but the garlic doesn't need to be in there for as long as those do. I'm gonna add some pasta water into the vegetables, and I'm gonna add the garlic now. Actually, whatever's going on in here is actually tasting really nice. All right, so the pasta is done enough. This actually looks like the perfect portion of pasta. Can you believe it? Then we're gonna add the pesto, and it's a little bit too much. The recipe calls for like 1 tablespoon, and this is probably 2 tablespoons, but I don't care. It can be a little saucy, I don't care. I just want to use this up. All right, it's starting to look like exactly what you would expect, green pasta. Okay, I don't know if it's gonna need salt. We're gonna add some pepper and a little bit of salt. It doesn't need very much, but just a little bit. That's a nice lunch. Okay, this is obviously not very aesthetic food. It just looks like, you know, green brown kind of pasta. Now let's try it with the sugar snap peas to see if it actually works. Strangely, it does. I've never had pasta with sugar snap peas before, but it's definitely a thing. Let this be inspiration for you all to look into your fridge or your pantry and see if there's something you can just throw together to use up like a few different things. Yay, we made it through another week. We're making lasagna, and I don't often make lasagna because I don't like ground beef, and my partner doesn't really like it with like ground chicken, but today I'm gonna try and make it in a way that he will like, so that we can actually start, you know, having lasagna, because I really like lasagna. All right, I am ready. So the first thing we're gonna do is cook the mince. I really hope we can finish the lasagna, like get it ready to put in the oven before I have to wake up my son, and we have 30 minutes. And this might sound like a lot of time, but we have to make the cheese sauce, we have to make the meat sauce thing, and we have to actually like assemble the lasagna. And I am not quick, because like I am a mess when I'm cooking, and you might not see this because I cut shit out, but I take a long time. Things that like take neurotypical people not so long, it takes me a long time. So that's what we're working with here. So the chicken is not defrosted enough, but we're just gonna roll with it like everything else. The ground chicken is done. I'm now gonna fry the onions, which I have chopped finely. In case you're wondering, yes, we are falling behind on the good old time. I'm now gonna add in some chopped tomatoes. I thought we had 2 of these and we need 2 of these, so I chopped some regular tomatoes. I might just add a little bit more water if that's necessary, because these are obviously a little bit more, you know, liquidy. And I also have some garlic underneath that I chopped up, because I mean, we need some garlic in there. Adding in some meat stock, like a little bouillon cube, because the recipe naturally calls for a chicken one, but this was one of my partner's requests. He also wanted me to make it saucy and cheesy. So I'm gonna try and make some extra cheese sauce. We're also gonna throw in a bunch of oregano, salt and pepper. All right, it is time for the cheese sauce, and my son is like super happy. So I'll try to grate some Parmesan, or some more accurately just random hard cheese, store brand. And I feel like that's kind of perfectly the amount. I would say that's pretty good. So I have some butter in the pan, butter in the pot. This is like the stressful bit. I don't want anything to get burnt. It's so cute. Like sometimes he just comes over to like sit so close to me, like almost like on my feet. And his dinner is gonna be a little bit of ground chicken and some boiled carrots. He loves that. Okay, I tried to set up the camera over here, but because of the windows, like it got really dark. So I decided to not do that. But anyway, butter is melting. Gonna throw in some spoons of flour, then we're gonna stir in milk, and then we just have to, you know, be stirring and stirring and stirring. We're gonna add the Parmesan, not Parmesan, but you know what I mean. Add salt and pepper and nutmeg if you have it, but I don't have nutmeg because I never use nutmeg. All right, I got my cheese to go on top. I got my lasagna noodles, or whatever they're called. No plastic, how satisfying is that? And then I'm gonna assemble it and throw it in the oven, but my son is hungry, so I need to try and be quick, so I'm gonna just do it, just do the magic. Okay, I forgot to show you before I went in the oven. I'm sorry this part was a little bit chaotic, but I'll show you the finished product, obviously, as usual. But thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that these videos serve as a little bit of like, maybe a little bit of inspiration, maybe a little bit of like joy for food and cooking, and maybe you can try something new that you haven't tried before. Okay, what was your favorite thing that I cooked / made this week? I'm hoping mine will be the lasagna, because I am hungry, but I am still thinking about that freaking frappuccino I made. Like, what the hell was that? Why was it so good? Why is it so easy? Okay, well, thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you later. Bye.